say, okay, I believe in this, and that's why I'm standing up for it, and that's why I'm not being difficult. And then there are other moments to go like, am I the asshole in the room? Like, what is happening here? I would show up on a set. I knew that they just wanted me to show up and look cute and stand on a little pink sticker where I'm supposed to go and say what I'm supposed to say. But I also knew that like that wasn't fulfilling for me, that I wanted to be a part of the storytelling, that I wanted to be a part of the narrative, whether that be in the writing, in the costume design, in creating the character. And sometimes I had directors or producers or writers who would welcome that and invite that once they saw that I was able to offer that. And sometimes I would have people who really resented that because they were like, we just hired you to be an actor. Yet when I went in the meetings, I would just seem like I'm just there to be the actor and ready to get the gig. I wouldn't reveal that I actually need to have authorship in order to feel fulfilled. So I think that for them, sometimes that might have felt like a rug pull because you're like, you're trying to assert yourself into something that we didn't hire you to do. And so it was like, it was a really strange position to be in because I felt like, I don't want to just like be an actor. Like I want to, I want to have more authorship.
Oh my goodness. If you have not seen that, don't worry. I will remind you. That is the 2022 Women's Power Summit for Forbes. Okay, Forbes put that on. That is Blake Lively slipping on a little bit of who she really is, slipping in just a little bit of the truth, a little bit of how she really feels and how she really operates behind the scenes, and thinks that that is some kind of bombshell that she doesn't even realize what she's saying. That's how completely tone deaf and completely disengaged from reality she truly is. Well, let's break that down just a little bit, okay? Because I think it's safe to say that, yes, Blake Lively, you are the a-hole in the room. And secondly, if you don't know why this is important, Colleen Hoover, in December of 2024, she created her own production company, her own film production company called Heartbones Entertainment. So she's planning on taking some of her other books and turning them into movie adaptations through her own film production company without selling the rights to her other books like she sold the rights to It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us to Justin Baldoni, which he then turned the book into a film adaptation, of course, of which Blake Lively stars in. So where is the issue in all of this? The issue in all of this is Blake Lively just admitted to lying to filmmakers, directors, executive producers, even studios like Sony that largely put up the money and the budget to turn these films into a actual reality, into a project. And what's crazy is she talks about how she's not fulfilled just being an actor. Then that begs the question, why are you an actor? Why aren't you a director? Why aren't you an executive producer? Why don't you, it's safe to say that her husband probably has enough money to start his own production company or start one for her where she can then do that, be a director, be an executive producer, whatever. I mean, she's got the connections and she's got a husband that has the wealth, the money to be able to do that. So if she's not fulfilled, why hasn't she made that transition from being an actress, this D-rate actress, to actually being a director if that's what she wanted to do? I think a lot of this has to do with Ryan Reynolds too, behind the scenes, because he's very jealous. And the fact that he was rejected by Scarlett Johansson, who was his wife for not even 2 years, and she files for divorce and she leaves him. Scarlett Johansson is a bigger actor and has a better career and is A-list status, more so than Ryan Reynolds is, more so than Blake Lively could ever imagine being. And the fact that she's supposed to be doing her directorial debut with Wayfarer Productions, which Justin Baldoni owns, with Justin Baldoni, a film about Eleanor the Great. She's supposed to be directing that. And Blake Lively is over 2 years ago in this clip talking about how that's what she wants to do. She wants to have full authorship over the character, over the wardrobe, over the production, over the scenes, over all of it. Well, it's kind of safe to say that the version of It Ends With Us that is on Netflix now, if you have not watched it, don't, because it's terrible. That Blake Lively, I mean, first of all, the wig that she's wearing in the movie is horrendous. The clothing that she is wearing is horrendous. The fact that she brings a $5,000 pair of red bottom heels for the dance sequence. I think it would be safe to say that a woman who's falling in love with this doctor, and she has worked really hard to open up her own floral shop, which is a very small business, would probably not be wearing a pair of $5,000 red bottoms, nor would she be wearing all of these designer clothes. I can see after she gets married and is long-term with a neurosurgeon, sure, maybe she has access to money and designer clothes then. But for the character at large, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the reality of, for most women, don't have that kind of budget to wear those kinds of clothes or those kinds of shoes. So the character Lily Blooms is, well, she looks, I mean, the wig throws it all off because that ginger long-haired wig just looks so damn awful in the film. It really, really, really does. So taking into account and consideration that if that is how she takes over a film and the job that she's doing, I would say that Blake Lively probably is not very good at budgeting, because she went over $600,000 on wardrobe and that's still what she came up with. Taking the allotment of other cast members that are playing pretty significant roles in the film as supporting actors, that she's taken the budget, gone so far over budget by over $160,000 that the other cast members don't get an appropriate wardrobe for their character in the film. I would say if she can't budget, if she can't even produce a wardrobe that is fitting both financially and by designer of the character itself, that would be not within her reach of what she would actually wear as a small business owner who is single at the beginning of the movie and had just lost her father. You know, I would think directing, producing is probably not for you, Blake. And that's okay. That's okay that you tried to usurp the entire movie and you got away with it and you got your way, you got your own cut. And it still was awful. It was so horrible. And I think she cannot accept the backlash for her own actions, her own ability, her own acting, and all of the salad words around that. It doesn't disguise that in this entire clip, she's essentially saying she lies. She shows up to auditions for an acting gig, and she shows up on set after signing the contracts to do an actor's job and essentially tries to usurp the movie from the director, from the filmmaker. Well, first of all, that is a rug pull, because nobody's going to be accepting of you trying to take over their job. That is way, way invading and infringing on somebody else's boundaries and their contract and their legal rights and their legal purview of what their job description is. But secondly, it also shows you just how she thinks that's funny and that's bombshell to, oh, you know, I'm not fulfilled. It doesn't matter if you're fulfilled or not. You're not a director. You're not a producer, an executive producer. If that's what you want to be, go be that. But if that's what you did in the film It Ends With Us, then I can see why you're not, because it's awful. It's terrible. It does not do the book justice. It does not do Colleen Hoover justice. And if that's what you want, fundamentally, go create your own film production company and start it from the ground up, because you're already privileged and in a space where you can do that. You don't have to crowdfund or do any of those things to have that for you. You have a husband that would be giving that to you, but I think he's just really jealous over his ex-wife and wants his current wife to be reflective of the A-list status that Scarlett Johansson has, because she's beautiful, she's kind, she's got a big heart, and she's got a fantastic career.